Welcome back to Chatbots Behaving Badly, the show where we pull back the curtain on artificial intelligence and show you what's actually going on behind the buzzwords. Today, we're diving into a topic that's ruffling feathers in boardrooms, design studios, and legal departments alike: Adobe Firefly versus Midjourney. Two AI tools, both stunning, both powerful, but one plays by the rules and the other plays jazz. This episode is called Style versus Sanity, the legal drama behind AI art, written by Markus Brinsa, narrated by Andrew Foley. Let's get into it. Here's the setup. Imagine you're a creative director at an agency. You need visuals for a campaign. You could commission an illustrator, sure, but your deadline is 4 hours from now, and your budget was last seen riding off into the sunset. Let's use an AI image generator, specifically Adobe Firefly or Midjourney. Both promise to turn text into gorgeous images faster than your intern can Google free stock photo. But here's the thing. They're not built the same. One was raised in a well-lit Adobe boardroom. The other was raised by wolves on the internet. Let's start with Firefly. Adobe Firefly is the good kid, the honor student. It was trained on licensed content, Adobe stock images, public domain material, and open licensed images with all the paperwork filled out. Basically, every pixel in Firefly's brain comes with a receipt. Adobe knew what they were doing. They saw the lawsuits. They heard the artists. They knew brands were terrified of using AI images only to get a cease and desist from some oil painter in Prague. So they built Firefly to be brand safe, boardroom approved, and legally boring in the best way. Now contrast that with Midjourney. Midjourney is the rebel artist in a basement loft. It was trained on, well, we're not entirely sure. Midjourney hasn't published a full list of its training data, but the smart money says it scraped the internet. Blogs, portfolios, DeviantArt, you name it. If it was out there, Midjourney probably chewed on it, which explains why it's so damn good. Midjourney can generate images that look like they were painted by old masters or concept artists from Hollywood. It's raw, it's chaotic, it's sometimes brilliant. But here's the catch. The model was built on data that was never properly cleared. That amazing Midjourney image of a futuristic city might contain echoes of a real person's art, used without permission. And guess what? That's not just awkward, it could be illegal. Let's talk legal frameworks, because if you're in marketing or legal or running an agency, you care a lot less about how pretty the images are and a lot more about whether you can actually use them. Here's how the two platforms stack up. Firefly comes with what Adobe calls commercially safe outputs. They even offer indemnification for enterprise users. That's a fancy way of saying, if you use a Firefly image and someone sues you, Adobe will pay your legal bills. That's unheard of in this space. Why can they do that? Because they own or licensed all the data Firefly was trained on. It's like using stock photography, but faster and customized. Meanwhile, over in Midjourney land, there is no indemnification. There is no promise. There's just a terms of service that basically says, you can use the image, just don't blame us if it gets weird. And it has gotten weird. Midjourney's being sued, alongside Stability AI, for using copyrighted works to train their models. Artists are fighting back, and no one really knows yet how the courts will rule. So even though you, the user, might technically own the image Midjourney creates for you, copyright law doesn't see it that way. The U.S. Copyright Office has been very clear. AI-generated works are not protected by copyright if there's no human authorship. Sure, you can use that Midjourney image, but can you protect it? Stop someone from stealing it? Not really. With Firefly, you're on firmer ground. Adobe's Creative Cloud integration even lets you attach content credentials, metadata showing it was generated by Firefly. It's not foolproof, but it's a step toward traceability. And then there's the twist. Turns out, even Adobe's pure Firefly wasn't entirely clean. In early 2024, it came out that some of Firefly's training data, around 5%, was actually AI generated. And not just any AI, some of it came from Midjourney. Yes, Firefly learned from images created by the very model it tried so hard not to be, like a straight A student borrowing homework from the class clown. Adobe stock allowed contributors to upload AI images. Some used Midjourney. Adobe licensed them, trained Firefly on them, and only realized later that their model had a little Midjourney spice in its neural soup. So now we've got Firefly learning from Midjourney, and Midjourney being sued for what it learned. And nobody's quite sure where the clean line is anymore. If you're a startup, a designer, a rogue creative just trying to blow minds on social media, Midjourney's your jam. It's flexible, powerful, and wild. Just don't build your Super Bowl campaign on it unless your CMO likes to gamble. Some agencies are using both. Mood board with Midjourney. Final execution with Firefly. That way, you get the creative spark and the legal safety net. Because here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. We're all making this up as we go. The law hasn't caught up. The tools are evolving faster than regulators can blink. And every image these models generate walks a fine line between inspiration and infringement. Until that line gets clearer, your best bet is to stay informed, stay cautious, and maybe don't use Midjourney to design your next corporate mascot, unless your legal team really loves surprises. That's it for today's episode of Chatbots Behaving Badly. If you like this one, share it with your creative director, your legal counsel, or that one friend who insists Midjourney is totally safe because it's just math. New episodes every Tuesday. This was Style versus Sanity, the legal drama behind AI art, written by Markus Brinsa, narrated by Andrew Foley. See you next week, and until then, keep your pixels clean and your prompt clever.